Right, we are live. Finally, after like years. Woo. Let me know what the mic's like and stuff. I've got no setup at the moment. Um, yeah. Let's see if anybody's on. Let's see if this mic, I don't know if the mic's working or not. Can let me just check these settings. One sec. God, it's ages since I've done this. Feeling a bit ill at the moment, so just bear with me on the old voice. 1 second. Let's see. Ay, ay, ay. Mike, why can't you give me a volume on the mic? Well, we'll just see what's going on, and hopefully it's working. Um, so where to start? Uh, you have to bear with me with this voice. I'm super sick at the moment. Um, but yeah, I've not gone live for a long time, and I was speaking with Lost in Sperry, and it made me want to try and do an every Sunday thing. But especially with these drones at the moment, if you know, you know. If you're following all this strategic bullshit that's been delivered at the moment with the typical media response to anything, it's just to confuse the shit out of you, to test how dumb people's brains are. Um, you should really know what's going on. Like, you really should. At this point, you should be like, yeah, obvious. Um, so my nutshell idea of what's going on with the experience I've had of how these kind of people work is going on this one quote kind of made me think, okay. And it's, we have no idea what these are, but there is no threat from them. Now, one half of that, one half of that sentence is false. Uh, and you can probably guess which one it is. I'm going with, we don't know what these are. Um, so yeah, like I said, the nutshell version is these people, so the agencies, Homeland, all that kind of stuff, are doing either, I can't really see it being like an exercise, but I can see it being some special op, which is the only thing that concerns me about this. Is if it is a special op, then there's something big going off that they obviously don't want to talk about because it'll be under secrecy and you know all that kind of stuff, all the usual stuff. So they wouldn't tell you anyway. But there's some clues in what they're saying that puts you down the path of, okay, so it's you guys, but why are you doing it? Now I've heard a few different ideas of why. Uh, the most mainstream version of it all is to see how dumb people are. I think they know how dumb people are. Just look at the response to this. Just look at like people taking clear footage of aeroplanes flying over New Jersey, where there's like between New York, New Jersey, and all those areas, there's like four massive, humongous, busy airports with flights flying around all the time. The things that they're filming look like airplanes, sound like airplanes, act like airplanes, are shown up on flight radar as airplanes. Weird. Uh, and also if you know about how aircraft work, when you're coming into land, certain speeds, blah blah blah, and you can work it out that these aircraft are just either in the hold, hence why they're sort of going around in circles. Some of them, because that's what they'll do is when it gets busy, fly around, and then you come into land. Then there's the navigation lights. Um, have you ever tried to judge how big something is that you don't know and have no reference? So anything in the sky, unless you have a reference of distance, like an airport. Like if I look across and I know there's an airport 7 miles away, and I see a plane come out of the horizon from that airport, I know it's about 7 miles away, right? If you have no reference, hence that way, there's no. It's very hard. Excuse me. It's very hard to judge how big and how high it is. Now, if you know aircraft, 777s, Airbuses, all that kind of stuff, you sort of get an idea of how big they are. And flying, if you see them high up and whatever, and there's a white trail behind them, let's not go into that yet. They're about between 33 and 40,000 feet, right? These things that look like aircraft and act like aircraft and are at the height aircraft would be if they're flying into one of the New York airports. Um, if you look on flight radar, you can see how far out they'll circle aircraft if it's busy on flight radar. You'll actually see 4 or 5 aircraft in the hold, and then they come in either over the ocean or the other way, depending on which way the wind's going. So these drones, I think, are military operation. They can't tell you what it is because it's under some secret thing. I think it's to do with surveillance. I think it's to do with they're looking for something because it's been going on a little while. It's not like it's, you know. Um, but putting that aside a second, there has been some pretty amazing reports of stuff. I'll use the word stuff because I don't, I don't like UAPs. The Oregon incident, which you can find online, you can find it on YouTube. I'll see if I can find it now. It's air traffic control talking to a couple of aircraft as they're coming online onto as the air traffic controller's frequency, and they're getting passed from the one before. They're coming to him, and I'll play it. Yeah, one sec. Uh, right. So let's see if I can find this. Trying to find the full one. I think it's this one here. Yeah, here it is. So just fuck off. So listen to this, and everybody can be a bit crazy, right? Everyone's got that little bit of crazy, but pilots, for me, are kind of built different. There's a lot on the line for a pilot. Yeah, lives in their hands, like literally in their hands. They've got to be pretty focused. There's a lot of shit going on in the cockpit. I know they're computerized and all this other stuff in there. There's still a lot of shit going on in the cockpit they've got to keep an eye on. Excuse me. Um, so I have a little bit more trust in what pilots, they're used to seeing shit and distances, and it's part of their criteria for being a successful pilot is knowing their shit. So I think it's a pretty, yeah, if you were gonna take the word of just someone you don't know, and it was just a member of the public or a pilot, I would probably go on the pilot's point of view rather than even if it's not even to do with aeroplanes, the pilot's got a you know pretty good scope of what is you know real and what's things just complicated stuff. Yeah, they're pretty good at dealing with complicated shit. So have a listen to this and tell me what you think. Because this is what got me onto this. Because I thought maybe this started this whole thing. I'll get into the English air bases in a minute as well, because that's kind of hmm, bit iffy. That got my attention anyway. Um, the three air bases in the UK where the drones came in, they scrambled F-15s, blah blah blah. Couldn't shoot them down. Tried the anti-drone technology, didn't work, etc. etc. Could be another test. I've just been testing them out, and the military kind of doing their exercise on himself. Blah blah. But anyway, have a listen to this. Um, you have to bear with me. It's just 1 second. Um, but yeah, I found this pretty interesting because come on, I don't know what's going on with my 1 sec. Let me turn that off. Um, because this is pretty detailed, by the way. This isn't just like a little clip. This is a good. I think it's about 10 minutes long of back and forwards from air traffic control to like three, four, five different flights, all reporting the same shit, all talking about it the same, all seeing the same thing. Um, and these things are doing things drones don't do. Right. So check this out. Right. Here we go. So his first thing is must be other aircraft because that's where his thing is. He's not just jumping straight to some weird shit. Like a member of the public would be like, "Fucking light in the sky, got to be a UFO." He's gone. There must be traffic of some sort. It must be aircraft, and it's not showing up. So he's maybe a little worried about his own flight and doing the appropriate things, asking ATC whether they can see anything, just to alleviate any worry he has on his own flight with his people in the back and all that kind of stuff. So notice there, he already says she's not sure because pilots don't guess. They're not into the guessing game when it comes to flying aircraft. But he gives his 2 cents on how far he thinks it is and whatever, whatever, in relation to where his aircraft is. He can see this thing. He's like, you know. So he's not just jumping to conclusions. Right. So there's another pilot who's come on, same frequency for this air traffic controller. He's saying there's a lot of movement going on. his first thing is there any aircraft out there? So, typical response from the first two pilots jumping to the conclusion that I don't mean that in a derogatory sense, but they're jumping to the first thing that comes to their mind, another aircraft, and probably due to, like I said a minute ago, a little bit of worry of like what the fuck's going on. So let's say up to the 50s, which there's very little aircraft that go up to the 50s. You know, Concorde used to go to 63, 64, 65. So basically, they've ruled out commercial aircraft. Uh, and I think that's probably why the first pilot was like, "Have you got any military aircraft up there?" Because he's already noticed, and his observation is these are pretty high up. Um, and the reason that they're not coming up on his TCAS, which is he'll have a little screen with all the aircraft around him um, in the cockpit so he can see. And he's obviously seen these lights, looked at his TCAS, and there's nothing showing on there, hence him asking the question. But his first one was, is there any military shit going on? Because they used to maybe see military aircraft doing weird shit, moving up and down, dogfighting, maybe, high altitude, what they call sorties and whatever, where they'll be, like, say, dogfighting or practicing certain things, refueling, whatever, whatever. So, anyway, okay, so you can tell in his voice that he's a bit. Excuse me. You can tell in his voice, starting to get a little bit like, yeah, I don't know what I can really say without getting called upon to take mental health tests and all that kind of shit. So, what he's describing sounds pretty military still so far. Yeah, it could be aircraft going in and doing certain stuff, but one at his height and one way up there. So way up there, if an aircraft was 10,000 feet above him, he would have said 10,000 feet, 20,000 feet, 50. So way up there is way up there. He's at 33, 35,000 or whatever, and he's talking about way up there. So he could be talking like the 70s, 80,000 feet, which rules out pretty much all military aircraft that we know of. Some of the unmanned stuff maybe can get up there. Blackbird used to get up there. I think the U2 could get up there still. Um, but I think most of the F-18s, F-16s, let me just check. I think they're sort of limited to about 60, 55, 60. Let's go for like F-15 max altitude. Max altitude. Oh, okay. No, I'm wrong. So the maximum operating for an F-15 is 100,000. Right. Okay. So that's the absolute maximum. However, its service ceiling. Okay. Here we go. So its best service ceiling, meaning it can still work pretty good, on its with all its stuff or whatever, is 65,000. So I was close. So they could push it to 100,000, but 65, everything still works fine. So mm, it's on the range now of where military aircraft is starting to sound like, yeah, I don't know. Let's keep listening. I hope this is coming out, by the way. I'll turn it up a bit. Right. So there's something really important. There's something really, really important. He says it's showing up on his TCAS, but air traffic control radar does not see it. So that's weird because I know ATC have like primary radar and secondary radar, and it's not coming up on either of them. But his TCAS, which let me just get so one sec, TCAS radar. Um, let me just so TCAS radar. Right. Okay. So it's proximity. It's a system that uses radar to prevent aircraft collisions. Right. So it's a proximity thing. It's not like a full radar for 10,000 miles or whatever. It's literally it says TCAS monitors the airspace around the aircraft for other aircraft which it could potentially collide with. So so TCAS has picked this up as a possible like, hey, there's something over there. Relax, but keep an eye on it. Right. So he's got an exact position now, 22 and a half miles. So his TCAS is telling him that's how far it is uh, in relation to where he is. Right. Also, right. So now it's starting to get weird. Now it's proper starting to get weird. Extreme speeds. Okay, we know pilots and aircraft. He's doing 550 knots. It's like 600 plus miles an hour. It's pretty fast. This is obviously making him like, what the fuck? This thing's on a fucking move. So extreme speeds. Pilots don't use words like extreme unless they're extreme. Like you never hear a pilot when you're on a plane say, uh, like the plane. So I've just been on a flight to Singapore, and it was pretty ridiculous turbulence, and they only classed it as light to moderate. When for me it was like fucking hell, mate, ridiculous, like full on ridiculous. But yeah, so you're starting to hear it in his voice. He's starting to get a bit like, holy shit. Okay, so then ATC has now told him he can take evasive maneuvers because they're obviously ATC now are like, shit, what the fuck is this? The pilot's like, what the fuck is this? You guys don't see it. I do. It's showing up. My TCAS like collision um, system is showing it. He's starting to get a bit like. So we've heard him change from, have you got any weird lights, any aircraft, to, yeah, okay. You can hear it in his voice. He's starting to get a bit more like, okay, getting a bit worried now. So let's continue. Okay, so this thing's doing weird shit. This thing's doing things aircraft not really. Excuse me. Anyone who is listening, I'm sick, so excuse the coughing. So this thing's doing things aircraft not supposed to do. Zipping is another word, key word to how this thing is acting. It's not just banking left and going out towards the ocean and then turning around and coming back. Don't forget, pilots are detailed. When they speak detail. Zipping is probably the first word that is came to his mind after he used the word extreme. Okay, so weird. He's even used the word weird. This is weird, you know. And like I say, listen to his voice from how it started to where we are now, and he's starting to get a bit, Hold on a minute, what the fucking hell's going on? So even the air traffic controller is asking him to send a video or picture of what he's seeing out of the aircraft. And it's pretty interesting footage. Obviously, you're not going to see it because I can't show you the actual video. I'll put the link in the chat. Um, let me just put that in the chat so you guys can see it. Um, one sec. So that's the ATC video of the pilots and air traffic control talking about the unknown targets. So yeah, strange. So this is the one that got me like I love aircraft. I've always loved aircraft and air traffic control and all that kind of shit. I find it fascinating for some reason. So when I hear things like this, after listening to years and years of air traffic control and blah blah, pilots used to be really, really like frowned upon when they used to report shit like this. But as time's gone on, and there's so many more, like you search YouTube for air traffic control, UFOs, UAPs. I'll play another one in a minute. It's nuts. It's like there's some of them. This one's pretty tame, but I thought it was a pretty good one because it's quite just straight legit, pretty back and forwards, blah blah. But then there's a few that have come over. I forget where it is. I'll find it in a minute. Uh, and there's tons of aircraft, and it's just what they say is like one guy's. Yeah, we've seen them for months. Like this has been going on for a year, and you think, like, what the fuck, really? And they're just used to it now. It's like, yeah, no, we've seen these before. Used to laugh at people when they used to report them until I saw them, and now it's just a normal thing. And you think this kind of shit that they're seeing, and obviously don't want to go to the media and this and that because then it puts, people think pilots are nuts if they start reporting weird shit like that because the first thing they do is go through a test. and then it puts their job on the line because it's not exactly great press for an airline whose pilots are reporting seeing funny shit flying around. Because it does make you question then, should this guy be in control of 350 people behind him? You know? So, yeah, it's a difficult one when it comes to pilots having to come out and say, you know what, you'll find a lot of retired pilots will. Like the guy who was on Rogan, um, he, David Fravor, I think it was, the F-18 pilot that followed the Tic Tac and all that kind of stuff. Um, you'll find a lot of them talk about it after they've left because there's no repercussions from it. But I just find it a bit weird. But going back to like the New Jersey thing, I think there's like a mass fashionable hysteria going on. A bit like the masks of how everyone was like, fucking, they're telling us to wear a fucking mask, and then everyone wears a mask, and then you frown upon if you don't. I think this is literally the same thing. I think this is literally there's a everyone's jumping on a bandwagon to take footage of anything with lights, anything. I'm pretty knowledgeable about photography and all that kind of stuff, and I for a fact know that a camera, when you zoom in on a star, will show you something like a plasma ball. When you look at it, you think, "What the fuck is that?" And it's because it's too far away, and the fucking computer in the camera's going, I don't know what it is. Don't know what it is. But anyway, listen. Let's just listen to the rest of this ATC. So basically, all his crew and all his medical staff that are in the back of the aircraft. I'm thinking this is like I think it's Medivac 611 is the call sign. So it's a medical flight. So it's probably a private jet style aircraft, 10 people, 10 capacity or whatever. And everyone in the back's obviously like looking out the windows going, what the fuck is that as well? Because he's obviously told her about it, look out to the right, whatever, this far, this area, whatever. And they're obviously pretty captivated by it as well. If you just joined us, we're talking about a bit of everything, the drones. We're just listening to some air traffic control talk between a pilot reporting seeing some weird shit, air traffic control saying it's not coming up on their radar. He can clearly see it. It's doing extreme maneuvers and zipping here and there. ATC can't see it, but the aircraft has um, got a TCAS warning, which is a collision system on the aircraft, which, if anything, comes within 20, 30 mile proximity of the aircraft. Because don't forget, 20, 30 miles at 500 miles an hour, and you've got an aircraft doing 500 miles towards you, it's not very long before you're fucking nose to nose like shit. Um, so his TCAS has gone off, showing him it's 22.2 miles, 22 and a half miles away, changing heights and doing extreme speeds was the words he used. So let's keep going with this. One sec. Currently, they're showing a picture of a very, very bright light. So he'll give you a little rundown now of he's obviously moved on to the. Hey, Doug, no shit. How are you, bro? Jerry. Been a while, guys. Flipping hell. Oh, good to see you guys. It's been ages. I know. Um, it's been a pretty crazy last year or so. Like it's been proper. Um, Probably a bit longer actually since Dad passed. Uh, Taken me a little bit of um, time to kind of get over all the happenings that came with that. And currently, I'm living in Bali, Indonesia. I had to get out of the UK, leave all the memories behind, all the bad ones anyway. Um, and I just decided to just start again. You know, um, good to hear, Doug. Yeah, all right, mate. I'm all right. I'm a bit sick at the mo. Funny enough, I just flew to Singapore, and I think I caught something on the flight, which sucks. Um, but yeah, I'm in Bali. I've started DJing again, producing music, and sort of gone back to what I was doing before I headed back to England. Um, yeah, it is what it is, mate. It's taken a long time to get over that shit. Um, as you probably know, I was looking after him for about 4 years or so. So it became life. It became like normality of dealing with that, and then went downhill really quick. And from just having a regular kind of like looking after dad kind of life to fucking gone and seeing him pass away in front of me and all that kind of shit was pretty tough. Um, and like I say, still not quite over it. I don't think you ever do get over it, but it's one of those things you kind of learn to live with, I guess. Um, but yeah, it's a funny one. But you know, is what it is. We're all going to go through it at some point, um, if not already. You know. But well, listen, I'm just talking about this all this drone stuff that's kicking off. Um, I'm pretty sure you guys have. uh, hey mate, if the place is good enough where you are, there's no reason to leave. You know. I appreciate that, mate. Appreciate it. Yeah, it takes time. It's only what 2 years ish. Uh, March 12th, I think it was. So yeah, nearly 2 years, year and 9 months, 10 months, or something like that. But yeah, it is what it is, you know. But I thought I'd get. But I was speaking with Lost in Sperry, uh, and he's got me back on. He's like, "Come on, bro, you gotta, you've got to get back on there." He's like, "We got like a couple of good people. Don't want to be one of these big channels." He's like, "Let's just have this little community where we can all have a bit of banter. We can all have a adult discussion, whether we agree or disagree with each other. We're all pretty pleasant and can handle a discussion and not have to turn it into an argument and this and that." And he kind of made me think, you know what, let's do it. Let's try and do it every Sunday kind of thing. And I thought I'd just get online tonight. It's 10 past 11 p.m. here. And I thought, you know what, English time's about, I don't know, 2 o'clock or something, 3 o'clock. Um, America's probably a bit early for those in the US. Um, but we'll figure shit out. I'll figure stuff out. It's either gonna have to be really early morning or really late at night for me to catch both crews. You know. Um, no, mum and dad died. It's just kind of, yeah, exactly, mate. That's my feeling. That's exactly my feeling. Oh, you got 10 a.m. Yeah, that's my feeling, mate. Is it pisses? Do you know what? It pisses me off when I don't think about it for a day. I go a day without actually thinking about it. I feel like I've let myself down, which is kind of weird because you kind of want to forget. Like you kind of not want to forget, but you want to kind of forget. You know what I mean? But yeah. So anyway, listen, let's crack on with this because this. I don't know. You probably missed because you guys have just come in. I think you probably missed the main part of this air traffic control pilot back and forwards about these things in Oregon, um, which I think it's like must be a couple of weeks ago, I reckon. And it's you know I was just explaining how pilots are, they're pretty responsible, pretty intelligent, they're pretty focused. There's a lot of like good shit that comes with a pilot. A pilot's word I would take any day of the week over a regular member of the public. Like if you told a member of the public to look at this, and they told a pilot to look at this, you're probably going to get a much more detailed, respectable, understandable answer from the pilot. So this pilot's like is talking about how this thing's 20 miles away from him, doing extreme speeds, weird maneuvers. He's asked air traffic control, "Is it? Can you see it? Can you tell me what it is? Is there a military aircraft somewhere?" They said, "No, we can't see anything." And then he gets a buzz in his cockpit. His TCAS uh, traffic collision automated system, I think it is, something like that. It's like a proximity radar. Anything comes too close to the aircraft that's worth worrying about, it sends it off. His TCAS went off. Obviously, it's there because it's responded to it. Um, and then this started off with me just kind of mentioning the Jersey stuff that's going on, which 99% of it is the dumbest shit I've ever seen in my life. When it comes to people taking pictures of aircraft with two engines and liveries on the tail, and people saying, "Oh my god, there's a drone over my house," anything. So there's a hysteria going on, a bit like there was with the old. That was a fake cough, not my real one, by the way. Um, we're going through this thing again of people just losing control of their fucking minds. Um, but I was just comparing one legit version of what's weird UAP slash unexplainable phenomenon, you know, in comparison to the shit we're getting on the news, where every fucking news thing is like, "Oh my god, there's fucking drone," and you can clearly see a plane. You hear it. It sounds like a plane. It's acting like a plane. It's showing up as a plane on fucking flight radar, but people are saying it's a drone. And the only explanation I've got is there's some, I would say, pretty serious operation going on, uh, and they're looking for something. Maybe that would be the only reason. Yeah, that'd be pretty much the only reason I would kind of think of to make them not tell them not tell you that we're doing a fucking drill or some shit. This seems like they're actually looking for something, like scanning. Yeah, yeah, exactly, Dougal. So his TCAS came up. Yeah, obviously it should show up on primary or secondary radar. Really, I think it only has to be bigger than, was it like 16 inches or something like that, for it to show up on radar. It's at the same height as he is. It's also at 50,000 feet, so that's 20 above where he is. Um, what's that? it advertises itself on flight. Try it again. Yeah. No, I'm not sure about that. What language that first? Are you one of these fucking aliens speaking some kind of, what does it say? Kistnablicken actually sounds a bit Norwegian. Yeah, like Norwegian or something. Yeah, so it could point towards military stuff, like unmanned. Like if anything, it's has to be unmanned because the speeds it's doing is kind of, the pilot's using words like extreme, extreme speeds. It's zipping about. They're the words he's using, and I think he's trying to use words that aren't like incredible and anything too serious. Um, so he's obviously picked something up, uh, and it's zipping out to the ocean, and it's coming back again, and then it's doing like a corkscrew maneuvers, and it's zipping out again, and then it's coming closer to him. Um, so yeah, it's all getting a bit, and his voice goes from have you got any aircraft there, to where he's starting to get a little bit worried because it's getting quite close to him, and so on and so on. And then there's the other one, which is I think a little bit more fascinating. Is I think it's over. I forget the area. Um, where like 7 or 8 pilots from Virgin Atlantic, from American Airlines, United, like all these different are all coming online and saying, "You got like aircraft?" And and they're like, "No, can't see it anywhere." And like they're all seeing it, and there's 4, and there's 6, and then there's 2, and one zips by his aircraft, um, which he freaks out about because he said that's really close. Um, and then air traffic control get worried because obviously they don't want a fucking collision. It's not showing up with them, but they can all see it. Like visually, they can all see it as well, and it's all come up on their TCAS. Um, maybe I don't know. Okay, there's two. If it's military aircraft, they're obviously going to have some kind of TCAS, which, like what you said, Dougal, about it can only be picked up from another aircraft that's got TCAS. So there's that, and then there's also the possibility that it could be fucking something from another fucking time or space or whatever, and that just becomes irrelevant. You know, I don't know. I have no idea. I just find it fascinating, um, and just seeing all this hysterical fucking bullshit on the news about all these drones in the US, um, and how they name them drones straight away, rather than go down the route of like down the route of like UAPs, UFOs. It didn't last more than 3 seconds. It was literally like straight away. Drones, 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 drones. Um, and of course, you don't know which footage is from when. There's some fucking stupid footage out there at the moment. There's footage of ones firing down on something, and it's clearly footage from like Fallujah or fucking somewhere in Iraq of a Apache firing fucking stuff out of it. It's not, and so it's got everyone on a bandwagon, and I guess that's why they've left it because the more confusion, the better it is for them. Yeah, I can't see it being foreign either, mate. To be honest, it's either them. Well. Ohio, what's going on? It's been a hot year. How you doing, buddy? Yeah, so Dougal, I'd say like this one we're listening to with the ATC and stuff is probably, it's way out there in Oregon. It's away from like, yeah, I can kind of see that as being some. test facility creation. The other stuff, though, I don't think is anything. What gets me is they put these two sentences, like every news channel. You know the way if you played 50 news channels and you played them all overlapped each other, they literally say the same shit. So I watched 10 minutes of a hearing with like someone saying they pose no threat, but we don't know what they are, which is kind of like doesn't make any sense at all. And I think I started off this with I started this off with one half of that sentence is a lie. So it's either we don't know what they are or they pose no threat. I'm going with we don't know what they are. I think clearly they know what they are. It's probably them. But then for something like this, after this long, because this has been going on for like 3 weeks, 4 weeks, I would have expected them to come out and say, "Everyone, chill out. It's just a fucking drill. We're just, it's just us. Fucking relax." Or there's something really serious happening, and they're trying to find something. I can't remember who I was listening to a couple of days ago, and they were talking about that something came into Jersey Harbour via boat that shouldn't have been on the boat, and they're now looking for it. And they're scanning for a certain signature, which could be bullshit as well. But that seems more likely that they're looking for something. Yeah, and it's that what made me laugh was like how the first, like always, the hystericalness of the first couple of days of there's an Iranian mothership off the off the coast of Jersey firing these things up into the sky. And I was like, yeah, well, blue book or blue beam. Blue beam, I don't think. I think that is just like holographic projections, isn't it? I don't think blue beam is anything to do with like actual objects. I think it's just the falsifying of holograms, and then I suppose serious advances in technology, holograms could look pretty fucking real. But I don't think they've got the capability now of window. Welcome, welcome, Sevener. Why has that been retracted? Did you retract that, or did YouTube do that? Because I don't do that. Yeah, I'm good, window. Ohio, yeah, I'm good as well, mate. I'm a bit sick at the moment, hence the coughing and all that kind of stuff. I can't believe we got a couple of the crew back. Hey, oh, nice one for joining me tonight. I'm going to try and do this every Sunday if I can. I'm in Bali, Indonesia at the moment, living here. Have been for pretty much 2 or 3 months after Dad passed. I moved, just had to leave England, and a mate was here, living here, and he invited me to come over, and I come over for like a month, and 19 months later, still here. Still here. Yeah, I appreciate it, man. Appreciate it. Um, so what's your take? What's your guys' take on this drone thing? I got a feeling most of you are going to be on the same sort of. It's a military operation of some sort. Um, yeah, I'd like to get like what's your guys' take on what it is and why? I don't think they're this one. I don't think they're playing games. I don't think they're just like, yeah, let's get a fucking reaction from the public. I think there's something a little bit more nefarious. Back in 2 secs, boys. I'm just gonna beverage. 1 minute. Don't know why I'm smoking. I'm fucking sick. Dibby. Yeah, so come on, give me your best shot with what you think's going on. Yeah, that's a funny one, isn't it? There, the CEO. The only thing is, I don't think that's important enough to do something this big. I don't think the CEO thing is that important to the point of. So, Window, you think it's testing of them? You don't think they're actually on an operation? Yeah. Well, obviously, yeah, it's a distraction. But this is why I think they've let it get a bit out of hand when it comes to like the news putting footage of clearly aircraft with fucking United emblems on the tail and telling you it's another drone. I think it's like a. I think it's like a. I don't know, like a. We don't want people to think too much about it. We know we don't. We want people to think loads about this, but let the confusion continue so they can't actually pinpoint what we're actually doing. That's kind of where my brain's at. Is maybe the facial recognition. No, it's mm, so Jerry. I'm more on that kind of route. Maybe not a sub, but because it's a massive operation. It's not just like a couple. Like it's a massive operation, and they're all doing the weirdest shit. It's not like they're all traveling in the same fucking direction, or there's some. Yeah, but they don't listen. So I've just been to the airport. Yeah, I've just gone from Bali to Singapore and back again, and it was ridiculous. Like it was ridiculous. I saw one of the systems. I don't think they were really supposed to let people see it, to be honest. But one of the systems, uh, I could see just the yellow squares over each person's face, and on the right hand side of the screen was the person with all the details, and it was going so fast, and it was like, God, they could pick you up in a fucking second. There could be 50,000 people in front of you. It would scan it in 30 seconds. It was so fast. And then with the passport, I slotted my passport into a thing. Door opened. You're free to go. It's like, what? It's like, really? Didn't have to look at anything. Didn't have to fucking stand there and take your hat off. Straight through. Whack. All done through the eyes. It's literally retina stuff. I don't even think face is any part of the technology anymore. I think I think that's it's pointless because you can change your face. You can't really change your eyes. You can put thingies in, but I'm pretty sure they'll pull you over straight away and tell you to take them out. Um, Facial recognition ain't going to be the way forward for things like that because, as you saw in the UK with all the marches and stuff, people just wearing masks. End of. fucks it up completely. Put a pair of sunglasses on, you're done. So yeah, facial recognition. I think it's a very expensive way of trying to kind of make something better that ain't going to be the future. I don't see that. They can do one camera can cover fucking. I don't think they need like drones flying over and shit like that. I think it's a lot more nefarious in a sense of what they're actually doing. I don't think it's just something as simple as like a reaction. You know, let's scale a reaction to this, see what people do. I don't think it's because if they wanted to do that, I think they would have done it in 30 different places all at the same time. Because that would have made people fucking react. This just over New Jersey, the thing in the UK, Manchester Airport and Mildenhall, Lakenheath, etc. That was pretty fucked up. But again, it could just be like I don't know. The Manchester Airport thing was weird. Yeah, body movement's another one. Um, but yeah, the Manchester Airport thing was weird. I don't know if you guys. I assume you guys saw that the blue orb that landed on the tarmac and then fucked off when they drove up to it to try and figure out what it was. It just fuck off into the sky. Pilot took a bit of footage from the cockpit just before it landed, and it didn't actually land and touch the ground. It just came down to about 8 inches off the ground. Don't know what that was. Could be some kind of military something, but definitely highly advanced. Because I'm pretty sure that we don't have any fucking globe-shaped drones. It would make sense to make a globe-shaped drone. Put cameras all over it, couldn't you? Pretty aerodynamic. But then the Mildenhall one and Lakenheath, that's very weird because one guy who was live at the time, in fact, there was two people who were live at Lakenheath, or one was at Mildenhall, one was at Lakenheath. When they appeared and they scrambled the F-15s, there was quite a bit of malfunctioning going on the like you heard the pilot on the ATC because he was live at the time as well, so it wasn't like it was doctored on live, and the pilot clearly said, "These are not drones. These are, I can only say UAPs." I think that was the quote, something like that. And their anti-drone measures just didn't work. They tried to fire on them, that didn't work, and then they all fucked off. And there was loads of them. It wasn't just like a couple. I think there was estimated to be like 50 or 100 of them. Which you could think, oh yeah, it was a drone, like a drone swarm, but they were there for like 6 or 7 hours. This is the other thing about the drones thing. I know we're getting really good at batteries and all that kind of shit, but really, 6 7 hours could, I guess, a military drone could do. Again, it depends on what you're talking about. Drones. If you're talking about like what are they called? What are the military things called? Uh, the unmanned. Hold on, what are they called? Unmanned. Um, Manned combat aerial. Yeah, those things. And I'm trying to remember what the names of them are. What they're called. I'm trying to find the fucking names of them. Yeah, so there's the. Let's see on this page, it's got all of them here. So we've got. Oh, come on, for fuck's sake. Page just fucking crashed. Yeah, so you got like you say, the Reaper. What's the one that looks like a fucking cruise missile? The non-prop one with the big hump, that evil-looking thing. Fucking hell, I forget what the name of it is. But I'm pretty sure that they can stay. They can stay. They can stay in the air for fucking pretty indefinite amount of time, right? And surely they've got things like, yeah, that's it, the Reaper, and then a Global Hawk. So I bet, like, there's always one knocking around south of the Ukraine. If you look on flight radar, let's see if there's one there now. There's always one of those Global Hawks at about 65, 70,000 feet. Might not be there now, so a quick look. One sec. Where is it? Dum, 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 dum. Usually flies out of just south, usually, like where the Ukraine is. What's that one? Nope, not that one. Not that one. No, it's not there at the moment. But if you look over like the Black Sea, every now and again, there's usually one doing like 1,000 circuits for like 18 hours. And then it goes and flies back to its base in Greece, I think it is, or Crete, or wherever it is. But they can't move at like hyper fucking sonic speeds. They can't move at like 5,000 miles an hour. They're just fucking regular shit. So I don't know. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, it did the fuel dump where it flew in front of it and actually fucking hit it, didn't it? I think. Um, yeah, that's right. What a fucking risky maneuver that was. So fucking the footage of it coming straight at it and fucking obviously broke it. It actually hit it, I think. Crazy. But yeah, it's just I don't know. I'm always interested when there's like a hysteric response from something. You know, very over exaggerated, crazy fucking kind of reminds you how crazy the public are as a group, that they're fucking just out there. They'll run with as soon as 1,000 people run with something, 10,000 people run with it, and it gets out of control. Um, like I know aircraft. I've had aircraft in my life pretty much all my life, from sister being a hostie to fucking lots of friends being pilots, living near airports, going to school in a place where military aircraft used to fly over all day, out in Wales, where they'd fly to Martloop and back. So they'd fly over at 100 feet, 250 feet all day. So I know what aircraft, very interested in what they do, what they fucking, how they work, all that kind of shit. Um, and stay pretty clued up on like the latest stuff that they tell us about. But I don't think we've got, we've got stuff that fly as fast as rockets. I don't think we've got anything that can fly faster than a rocket propelled something. If you disagree, tell me, because I can't find anything. I can't find anything that, there's stuff people are working on, but I don't see um, things that can accelerate from 0 to 5,000 miles an hour in 2 seconds. I don't think we've got anything like that. Like remote controlled or unmanned or whatever. I just don't think we have anything that's. I don't think we've cracked that yet. Unless you guys know of something, then yeah, fucking put a link in there. I'd love to see that. Love to see something like that because it would then explain quite a lot of shit. You know? But yeah, it's a weird situation. There's probably more of this. Let me just play a bit more of this whilst we're chatting away. So I'm gonna go. So I'm just gonna go back. Just gonna go back a bit. Um, okay, let me just go back a little bit. It's about here. Can you guys hear that? All right, yeah. You guys can hear the air traffic control, right? Oh, what? You can't hear that? You can't hear air traffic control. Why would that not be coming through? Ah, bollocks. Oh, well, that's fucked it up, isn't it? That's fucking hell. What a waste of time that is. Oh, well, that's fucked. How come you guys can't hear a video I'm playing? Ah, bollocks. Um, oh, well, that's annoying. Oh, it's just a really good air traffic control thing going back and forwards about a guy reporting. I think it's that one. Hold on. Ah, what a shame. Why isn't that coming through then? Uh, that's the link to the vid. If you guys want to actually hear it, it's quite interesting. He's just reporting shit, doing mad shit, flying much higher than he is, um, zipping back and forwards, and yeah, it's quite interesting. But yeah, so it's I don't know where this is leading. We're either got to find. It's either got to be one of those things that we don't hear about for ages, and it just fizzles away, or it's going to be something in the next sort of couple of weeks where um, they kind of come out and say we got him, and it was some fucking lunatic bastard trying to get into the US with some dirty suitcase or something like that. Also, I don't know. I don't know. It's gonna be something. It's gonna be something mad. I can't see this just being a. I might be wrong, but I can't see this just being like some. Let's trick the public, or let's do a test. I think they're past that now. I think they're kind of past of how dumb and stupid people are. I think they got literally all the answers to all their questions during the old. I think that gave them everything. I think that gave them every possible statistic of every question they wanted answered of how stupid, dumb, obedient, and fucking. I'm trying to think of any other words, but how people are, how easily swayed. Um, like you saw all that stuff that came out recently about literally everything that we talked about during that time has now come true. All the things, literally everything that we spoke about to do with that has all now come true. It's all now just like, yeah, okay, yeah. And you think, do you think Pavlov thought about his dog every time he heard a bell? So, in what sense? So, did he actually think of his dog? Because he must have done to go and press the bell. He must have gone, shit, it's time for the dog to, it's time for that again. Yeah, is that the one that was on like was on like a freeway, Jerry? It's like on a freeway and the guy going across the top of the bridge. And he's like, oh, one crashed. Oh, there's a bit of wreckage. And what gets me is these are pretty fucking big. They're not like, this is why I think they kind of, this is why the drone word is, I think, being used so much is so people can start associating with the four propeller looking ones, rather than aircraft looking ones like the um, Global Hawk and things like that, where it's actually two wings and an engine inside, not four little fucking those ones, you know. Yeah, oh look, it's a squirrel. Fucking squirrels. We're back at it. Nice one for joining me, you guys. I needed this tonight, to be honest. Feeling pretty shitty after getting some weird fucking virus off the plane. We got rainy season here at the moment, so it's like it's ridiculous. I remember when I was in Thailand going through rainy seasons, never as bad as here. Never like seen rain like it in my life. Not like prolonged, where suddenly the streets have got 4 feet of water in and there's cars floating down the road. It's just fucking mad. But then that seems to be happening everywhere at the moment. Yeah, they're fucking nuts, aren't they? Yeah, some crazy footage coming out of the war everyone forgot about. Um, isn't it amazing? Isn't it amazing that how long that has gone on for now? That now it's just a fucking thought in the back of people's minds. It's not even a thing people talk about. It's never on the fucking TV anymore. No one gives a fuck. Too cool. Oh, fucking hell. I don't know if you guys can get this in your. Oh, it's fucking delicious. Never thought I'd ever drink cold tea, but it is absolutely. What's it say? It's Melati flavour, whatever that is. What's that? Next step is to have ways to be undetectable. Yeah, but to what? To like radar and stuff like that, or do you mean to like the naked eye? because I really like. I know we've got what is it? The Japanese guy who made the material. That was pretty amazing. But then I don't know if that's real or not. Is that real? Where it had, I don't know, 1,000 cameras in it. Was it 1,000 miniaturized cameras or something like that, and it projected what the camera saw in front of it. No, sorry, it projected what the camera saw behind it and projected it on the front or something like that. But it was a material, so it could be, you know, pushed into a bag, pulled out, you hold it over you or something. I forget how it worked, but I remember it being pretty unreal and unbelievable. That wasn't real. I didn't think it fucking was. Like Predator style visuals. Because I always thought if it was had a camera behind on the back, so projected what was on the back and the front, and you were hid behind it, surely it would project you on the front and be a fucking absolute waste of time. Just be a big picture of you on the front like that. That's something I'm really interested in buying, to be honest. I want a infrared camera. I want full night vision infrared because you can buy them on. I think you can buy them on eBay. Um, you can get like converted cameras where it's just infrared, so it's useless for anything else. But there's a couple of channels on YouTube I follow. There's one in Australia. I forget what his name is, but he just films the night sky with his infrared thing, and it's fucking amazing. There's so much weird shit going on, like so much movement. And you think maybe he's just picking up more satellites. But then there's it only takes like one UFO to make UFOs real. Out of 100,000 fucking bits of footage and videos, it only takes one of them to be real for it to be real. So he's got one where this thing, what he thought was a satellite first, comes flying over, and then does a full movement thing like this, and then gets really fast, and then a satellite comes past, like a proper satellite comes past, and this thing kind of fucking gets out of the way, goes like this, wait for it to go past, and then just like carries on doing its thing. We think satellites don't fucking do that, and he was like, "Yeah, I'm not really sure what that was," because he was just doing it for you know for fun. He wasn't like some UFO nut or yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, no, I know that for sure. No, but some of those like I think there's a couple of pretty good ones for like 500-600 quid. Um, I think that was the one he's using, and it's it's pretty good footage. It's pretty clear, like it's just showing you shit that when you look there with your eyes you can't see shit, and then when you go like that you're like, what the fuck? Loads of shit moved about. You know me by now, guys. Fucking hell, I love this kind of shit. I like to submerge myself into a little crazy sometimes. Especially when the world is so fucking mental at the moment. I'm trying to think what else there is to talk about. There's fucking so much shit has happened since I was last on here. It's just hard to even pick one out. You guys ask me, have I seen something? Or what do you think about whatever? What stood out to you since the last time we were here? What stood out to you that we should have spoke about? Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, I saw something about that actually, Window. Yeah, because when there was someone, if I remember, there was someone They were doing it on the Mexican border, if I remember, where they were tracking a couple of people, and then they just all fucking disappeared. They were like, well, they've literally fucking gone. It was like, can't see them anymore. And it was like, I'm in an open area, and I just can't see them. They were there 1 second, then they've gone. So I guess they're using them. It's like the silver wraps, isn't it? It's like those, yeah, the heat blankets, like they use for like marathons and stuff after. Yeah, I suppose that like I suppose everything like that gets more advanced and more advanced and more advanced. That's the trouble, is you just can't keep up with the advancement of everything. Like AI, for instance. So when we were talking about stuff to now is just so extreme in how much further it's got that it's like fucking uh Dude, your fat thumbs are mental tonight. Uh yeah, the ghillie suits as well. Yeah, yeah, yeah. But they're mental anyway, aren't they? Some of them are just like fucking hell. You could be 3 feet away from someone and just fucking not know. Yeah, that wouldn't surprise me. Mate, after being away from England for the last sort of 18, 19 months, the shit that I hear, whether it's whether it's true, I don't know. Maybe one of you lot can confirm this. But is it true that they let out a fuckload of people from prison, from jail, and started putting people in because there wasn't enough space to put people in who had said weird shit online? Was that actually true, or is that just some nonsense? 'Cause I heard that they let, I don't know, 1,000 fucking people out or something ludicrous, and then started jailing like 65-year-old men who had retweeted somebody saying something that someone else found offensive. And I was just like, nah, it can't be. I did see it in the Daily Mail, so it must be true. Oh, ridiculous. I hope someone's going to tell me it's not true. But then all this shit I hear about fucking Starmer, I think, wow. And I know some of that is true. Like, what the fuck? It's like I swear England is trying to be like the leader of absurdity. So what? It was true. All part of Troy early release program for non-violent offenders. So then that brings me to the next question. So my next question is non-violent. What does that mean? Because remember, we live in flipped upside down, left is right, right is left world. Since since then, everything's fucking upside down and usually means the opposite. So does that actually mean quite violent offenders, just not really, really violent offenders? Because I heard there was uh, how do I say this without sounding too ridiculous? Rhymes with swimming, Rhymes with swimming trunks that have the word Speedo on them. Exactly, window. Exactly. But I can't see me saying something like Starmer's a twat should get me a possibility of like a month in prison. So stealing a car and joyriding the fuck out of it, is that a violent offence? But I heard there was though. I heard there was the old because like one place where they all knew he was went fucking mental, saying how dare they let him out. There's a big hoo ha about a certain village that everybody knew he was up to some weird shit and had tried to tell the police for so long, and then he got caught, and then he'd done like an eighth of his sentence. Yeah, the trouble with that window is, like I say, because the meanings of things have changed, people are finding misgendering someone a threat. That's why you got to be so careful with like certain words you use now. Threats should only be are the only words that should get you in trouble. A threat like, yeah, I'm gonna fucking whatever, yeah, but not because you just misgendered somebody who is clearly a bloke in a fucking dress with a beard. Exactly, Ohio. Exactly. So even that's swap round. What was it? Sticks and stones will break my bones, but words will never hurt me. Should now be sticks and stones. Uh, Sticks and stones will break my bones, but words will infuriate me. Ridiculous. It's just mad. The fucking just looking back at how much we used to talk about weird shit. That all sounds a bit mad back then. It's all suddenly like now normal. Yeah, of course. Yeah, bring back fucking a good slap. Exactly. Exactly. Just mad. Too much fucking what is it? Trying to think what it is. Uh Too much fucking tofu. I think that's what's fucking turning the world into a lunatic asylum. Bit too much tofu. I do like a bit of tofu. I can't knock it. Just had a pad thai tonight. It's fucking beautiful. Yeah. It fucking tastes like shit. All these copy fucking things. I'm sort of like I don't eat red meat. I haven't since I was about 16. I eat a bit of fish. Uh, but I've always said if someone could just get a rifle and then I would eat it. I would quite happily eat it. I'm just not into all the Like I rarely eat fish. The only reason I've started eating loads of it here is because I fucking catch it just down the road. Literally, you walk down the road, the boat comes in, fucking people on the bars, along all the beach bars, go and end up buying all the fucking fish. Or you can catch it yourself and take it to a bar. And they'll cook it for you. Yeah, bit of venison. I remember going, I'd have been about 14 or 15, I think, going on a fishing trip to Frankfurt, Michigan, on Lake Michigan. First, we had steelhead fishing and king fishing. Uh, and I brought loads of like spinners and fucking lures from England and caught so many fish that it pissed off most of the anglers around me because I was literally every cast I was getting like 12-pound fucking lake trouts and they were all looking at me like, what the fuck? Yeah, it's definitely down to the panic attacks for sure. Yeah, weak as fuck in every possible sense. Just mind shot, basically. It's funny how like I remember doing some of the predictions of how woke would be, like how mad it would get a couple of years ago, and we've surpassed all of it. We've literally surpassed the most fucked up shit we said and spoke about. That's like been and gone, and we're next level now. We're on a level that even we didn't think, it could get to this point. Just fucking madness, absolute madness. I'm really pissed off that video wouldn't come out on the. What a shame. So I could have done with had some cool vids to just play so you could hear the audio. I've got to figure out how to do that because I haven't got the. I had to leave loads of shit at home. I had to leave like the mics and fucking all that stuff. Didn't think about bringing them. In fact, maybe one of you guys know how would I play a video on YouTube whilst going live on YouTube? How would I make the audio come through? Hold on, I'm just going to try something. One sec. I've got an idea. Sound settings. Let me just look at this one sec. Uh, let me see. Let me see. Let me see. Uh, well, I'm just going to try something. Audio input. Channels input. Microphone. Don't know. Says default sound. Nope, don't want that. Just trying to figure out how I could get. I wonder if it. Hold on a minute. Hold on a minute. Right, I'm going to press something, and then I need you to tell me. Can you still hear me? Can you still hear me, or does it look like I'm miming? Tell me if you can hear me. Can you hear me? Can we hear me? Hear me? So I'm going to play the video. See if you can hear the video. What the fuck is going on here now? Can you hear the ATC now? Hold on one sec. Fucking computer's being a dick. Right, stop. Stop. Close that. Oh, since I've changed that, everything's fucking lagging like shit now. Right, so you can hear me, but you can't hear the ATC, right? Yeah, mate, it buffered, right? Yeah, hold on. Let me swap that back because that's fucked. Right, that should be better again. Ah, bollocks. No, it's not on mute. Oh, fuck's sake. What a shame. I'll figure that out for the next one. Yeah, so it's just not. Yeah, it's just me. Ah, bollocks. I'll figure that out. Maybe I've got to go through. Maybe I've got to go through OBS or something. Try and figure it out so I can play two audios at the same time. So my voice and something from the actual computer. I'll figure it out. But yeah, I'm going to try and do every sort of Sunday, at least for a couple of hours, just to have a bit of fun, you know. Because I'm pretty sure there's going to be so much going on, especially as this thing progresses, and then we've got obviously Mr. T coming in for a bit of fun. That's going to be something pretty amazing. Again, it's going to turn the world upside down for a little while. Trying to think what else. All shit going on in the UK. What else? What else? It's what I love about here, actually. What I love about Indonesia. Not a lot of shit happens. There's no woke stuff here. Won't stand for that shit. They literally will not stand for anyone like gendering stuff. They'll just laugh. It's funny. There's just so we have like streets called gangs, right? So it's like a little sort of in between off the main roads, and just at the top of our gang up here, there's okay. Let me try that. I'll unplug the headphones. I don't think it's loud enough. Yeah, you're probably going to hear it, but it's going to be so weak. I guess you can hear that now, right? But it's fucking can't really make out what's. I am. Hilarious. My favourite one out of all of those was uh, there was a medic who. So there was a medic. You ready for this? So I think it was Charlie Kirk or someone like that. And you know he has the microphone and people line up to ask him shit, whatever. So this fucking trans bloke came on who tried to make himself look like a woman and said, "I'm a medic, blah blah, da 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 da," and it's very hard for us in this and that, blah 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 blah. And he went, "Right, okay, I'm going to ask you a question. So, if you've been called to a car crash and two people are unconscious, there was two scenarios, and two people were unconscious in a car. One was clearly a man, and one was clearly a woman. Would you worry about misgendering them when you called it in?" And this idiot tried to weasel a way around the question, and eventually had to say no. I wouldn't. I would just, you know, that's it. And he said, so if a say you had a call to come to a house because someone was having a miscarriage and when you got there, it was a male, would you treat him for the miscarriage? Even though he's dressed like a woman, like a trans male, would you actually treat the person for a miscarriage, knowing that they were a male? And just wouldn't fucking answer. It was like no answer is exactly the same as you saying you got me, basically. Just fucking ridiculous. They even had this is what got me is so I don't know, a month before my dad passed, before he went in to the hospital, they gave him this sheet of fucking paper. And it asked, what does so it said usual stuff, date of birth, male, female, and then it had other next to it. And he looked at me and he was like, what's that? And I went, I don't know. And he was like, other. And I was like, I know, just leave it. Just he's like, bloody stupid. And then he went, identify. No, it says something like, do you identify as one of the following? And it said, cis male, cis female, and then like 93,012 other things. He was like, what does this mean? And I was just like, I don't know. I really don't know. And when the nurse came in and said he filled the form out and he'd missed that bit, she said, oh, can you please fill in the whole form? And he went, I have. And she went, no, you've missed this bit. And it was that. It was, what do you identify as? And he asked her, what do you mean? She goes, well, what do you identify as? It was just, it made him really angry. I was just laughing. And then she got offended because I was laughing. And he said, I'm not going to fill in a absolutely ludicrous question. And she threatened him with, then we can't treat you. They were the next words to come out of her mouth to an 89-year-old guy who was on his last legs, not far from death. And they were fucking last, like, next words to come out of her mouth. And I stood up and said, I want to see the supervisor. Immediately, your supervisor right now. I was like, not. This was funny until you said that. I was like, please go and get a supervisor. And a supervisor came in, and it was a fairly oldish gent who, when she explained what the problem was, she actually said, the problem is, so it was a problem. He went, oh, I've got this, don't worry. It's like, could you go and, like, and he said for her to go and do something. And she went off and did something. And he went, I'm sorry, Mr. Tidy. Like, things have got a little strange in this day and age compared to yours. And I was like, at least he had the kind of respect to kind of acknowledge that the question was absolutely fucking ridiculous and that he didn't have to answer it at all. But she wanted to make him answer it. And he told us after that he didn't have to. Yeah, it was optional. That was it. But the way she was so fucking invested in like the analism of having to fill something in, and especially that bit. Especially that bit. She was like, I've got to get a fucking answer. I was fucking hell. I just felt like getting her and saying, look, love, he's fucking nearly 90 years old. He's not of this fucking mixed up, fucked up generation of people who don't know what the fucking can't even tell you what the meaning of a woman is or a man or a fucking dog. It's like, just leave him alone. Not going to be here very long. Just fucking leave him alone. Just ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. Chromosomes aren't definitive. You mean like some people being hermaphrodite or something like that. Mate, I'm with you, Jerry. Absolutely. It should be that whole subject should be treated like alcohol. You don't fucking talk about it until you're fucking 21. Fucking stupid. In fact, it just shouldn't be talked about anyway. Listen, I don't have to identify. Just live your fucking life. If you want to fucking live it as a fucking giraffe, fucking grow your neck and fucking do it. Don't really give a shit. It's when you force it upon everyone to fucking acknowledge you like you're something special, is where I go, no. Yeah, Ohio, exactly. Yeah. What's that? 1 in 50 occurrence of chromosomes don't like them. Is that an actual fact? Is that a fact or is that is that something just is that a fact? How often does uh, applying this more precisely the true prevalence of it seems to be about 0.018% of the times chromosomes don't match gender. 0.018%. A little bit off there, Dougal, just a tad, but yeah, not too far. One if it's like a 1 in 800 or something. It's still not definitive. Yeah, no, I'm with you. Makes sense. I don't think it matters. I think basically do what the fuck you want and just fucking crack on. Don't look for confirmation from everyone else. If you're so sure you're whatever you say you are, then surely you don't need to tell anyone or ask anybody. Like, who gives a fuck? Just correct them or just take it on the chin. It's like someone coming to you going, you know, hi, I'm Rob, but they call you Brian. Sometimes you're just like, depending on the person. Yeah, exactly. There you go. Could just say I'm special, couldn't we? Yeah, just fuck it off. The people who are shouting and raving about what they are the people who really are confused and don't really know what they are. Because most of these people, when you hear them say, "I don't care what anyone thinks," is what most 99.9% of them say. I don't care what anyone thinks until they get pissed off that you called them a bloke or went, "Hey, dude, how you doing?" I'm not a dude. I thought you didn't give a shit. Yeah, exactly, Jerry. Just this throat shoving and the whole big push on it. it's irritating. Just fucking crack on. At the end of the day, I had a comedian say it the other day. It was fucking hilarious. But it was, well, it wasn't hilarious, but it was just so fucking true. He goes, you think you're like he was in the States doing his stand up. He was an American guy. And then he goes, anyone in the audience tonight who thinks they're American, he goes, just fucking zoom out. He goes, you're a fucking living being on a fucking rock flying through space at 85,000 fucking miles a second or some shit. In an expanding universe that we don't understand. But yeah, I just like that comment. If you think you're American or English, it's like just fucking zoom out. Yeah, same. Yeah, it's very true. Human beings are fucking weird. They're proper weird. How they can be so different is mental. Like some will figure out the fucking mathematical equation to quantum physics, and the other one can't fucking put a cupboard up on a wall. Did anyone actually mention that at all, ever? Do you know the only reason I'm not interested at all in flat Earth doesn't really change anything. It won't change anything. Like if aliens are real and suddenly appeared, it would change a lot of shit. If the Earth was flat, the only thing that's going to change is like there's going to be new places to visit and more fucking flights. Simple fucking hell. Yeah, we'll save that one for another for another episode. I think we're all in a simulation, so it doesn't really matter. Flat, round, square, fucking. I think it's irrelevant because we don't live our lives by the shape of the globe. Exactly, window. Yeah. Oh, mate, the flight here from England, what was it? 16 hours. Fucking hell. I was ready to open the fucking door. Because I always remember like flying to the States and be like Michigan or fucking somewhere, and it'd be like 7 hours from England. And when I got to 7 hours, I was like, I'm not even halfway. I'm not even halfway. I started to get like irritated. Yeah, that's about the only other thing. If there was like 9 other continents, I'd be like, oh, okay. Let's see who lives on them. Maybe it's the aliens that have been here well before us. Maybe that's where they live. That'd be the only interesting thing to come out of that. That there was like the human race in the middle and a different race on the outside of that. Yeah, it'd be quite interesting. Oh, I tell you what made me laugh which I thought was a really strange coincidence. Do you remember the shopping mall thing in where was it? What was the shopping mall thing where they said fucking alien was running around? Everyone freaked out. Fucking 5,000 police cars turned up and helicopters and all the news and everything. It was in a shopping mall. There was a big bright fucking light inside. And everyone started running and all that stuff that happened. Well, the only thing I found about that was the coordinates for it, like the Google Maps coordinates. The movie The Mist. Is that what we're talking about? Anyway, so the shopping mall thing, the coordinates for it. If you swapped, I think it was the first two numbers. I think it was like 56, 27, or something like that. If you swap them around, so it was 57, 26 or whatever, it took you to the secret base in Antarctic on Google Earth. It took you to like some mad fucking cave. I can't remember. Was it in Vegas? I can't remember where the. It was like a mad incident at the shopping mall. And the first news to come out was like all the kids were fighting or something. Is what actually kicked it off. But then that turned out not to be true, and loads of people started freaking out because they saw what they thought was like some mad fucking creature or something that appeared with a big flash of light in the middle of the shopping mall, and then it vanished. It was something like that. But yeah, the coordinates for where exactly it happened, if you swap the numbers around, it turns out that it was the base that everyone talks about in Antarctica. That's a conspiracy theory. I just found it quite funny that all you had to do was there was a joke that came out that the aliens must have put the GPS fucking coordinates in the wrong way around and ended up in a shopping mall, not home. Yeah, I'm with you on that window. Sometimes it's good to see what the fucking regulars being put through. What sort of predictive programming they're warming up for. I do it now and again just to keep in touch with the what's it called, the other reality. Yeah, there's always some weird shit going on. Do you guys follow, or any of you follow? What's his name? What's he called? Brain's gone like fucking shit. The guy who used to help Alex Jones, the English guy. He's got a couple of channels on YouTube. Um, One of his channels, Anything Goes, and then he's got what's his name? Let me have a look one sec. What's his channel called? Can't think what his. Vernon Coleman rings a bell. Let me just find out. One sec. Sure, it'll come up on my feed somewhere. One sec. Guys, you got to get on Suspicious Observers as well, just to stay up to date with all the weird shit that's going on with his son. So that's quite interesting. Let me just find this bloke 1 second. Subscriptions, where the fucking hell is that? so annoying. You only have a name in your brain, and then it's like the furthest thing you can think of. I'll see it in a second. It will just be like, Paul Joseph Watson. It's got a couple of channels. Don't feed the animals. Love it. Yeah, I do find it fascinating because I'm not one to just shut. Like I don't have like belief systems, so I can't say I do or don't believe in certain, unless if they're very definite, like oxygen and shit like that. But yeah, suspicious observers, mate. So it's one of my favorite channels because it's like it's the actual explanation for why the world is changing in a sense of like weather patterns, earthquakes, all that kind of shit. It's also a pretty good warning system for whether a CME is coming and it's going to fuck us up at some point, which it has done thousands of times in the past. It's kind of like it's not a conspiracy channel or anything like that. He's just very knowledgeable about the sun and how much it kicks out and how close we've been to having like total annihilating events on Earth. I think I spoke about it before, but basically, like a CME brings a massive EMP with it. And of course, an EMP will take out anything electrical. And you know what happens if the electrical grids go down for more than fucking 5-7 days? It's chaos. It's full fucking chaos. Because it'll be worldwide. It won't be just a certain, It's why we're seeing the auroras so far down south, in fucking Texas, New Mexico, Florida. Fucking even seeing them down in fucking Ecuador and shit like that. That's how far down. These used to be up north things, to go and see the Northern Lights in the UK. You very rarely get them in Scotland. You'd have to travel to like Norway and places like that to go. Yeah, the Carrington event, exactly. That was the last sort of big one, but that was before we had huge amounts of technology. If the Carrington event had happened this week, we'd be absolutely fucked. There'd be no internet, there'd be no satellites, there'd be no electricity, there'd be no power stations, there'd be no fuel, there'd be no it's pretty unbearable to think of how different the world would be if a Carrington event happened. And they happen a lot. We've had a few CMEs from the sun in the last 2 years that were just not pointed at us. They were pointed out right and left and on the backside and whatever. That would have completely took us out if they had hit. That's how often it happens. Like some of these things are huge. Like we had, I think they do it by X. There's like M class flares, C class flares, X class flares. I think X class are like the high end. Like we had a pretty big one. Well, no, this is it. Okay, they're not as big as the Carrington event, but they're having that effect because his notion is that the what's it called? The fucking our brains like shit tonight. The protective layer we have around the planet. The fucking hell, why can't I think of these words? I know all this shit. The electromagnetic field that we have around the planet is weakening down to a cycle. It's just another cycle, happens about every 12,000 years or so. So a big CME does fuck up the ozone. It does fuck up a lot of other shit as well. Now, if you remember, if you look into the Carrington event, I think I'm right in saying, in fact, we had one like in the early 2000s as well, where like they had video footage of power lines melting, sparking and dripping, melting fucking wires because of what was happening. And it took out a big part of Canada, if I remember, which was a lucky escape, basically. Now, we all know what an MP, like an EMP, an MP3. If you remember when the Iraq War started, the first one, do you remember all the footage on the news when they said they were going in, and it went from night vision yellow street lights to just green, and then any night footage from then on was green. They basically EMP'd Baghdad completely. Hence why you can't rebuild it very quickly, because it literally fucks up everything. So you have to take everything out and put everything back in again. Yeah, an EMP is a fucking disastrous. I think it would have more of an effect than a nuclear event. Yeah, hi. That's the one he's talking about. That's the one that he's sort of winding up to. Is it's going to be the cycle. The end of the cycle is around like late 2030s, early 2040s, and we'll have, you know, the whole pole flip thing, which people still laugh at today, but you know, if they have happened before, there is fucking yeah. It doesn't. It's got to be too big for a Faraday cage. This is like monster. This isn't. You know, a EMP weapon would probably a Faraday cage would probably work against that. But we're talking about the sun. Talking about this nuclear monster explosion thing that's going on. It's like Musk said the other day when he said, if you're worried about phones and stuff in your pocket, about giving you cancer and stuff, it's like, you want to know what radiation feels like? It goes, just go stand outside. And just realize how far away that thing is and what you can feel from it. Because that's how big of an explosion that is, a reaction. And it's, you know, it's been talked about. Fucking, I think the Mayans talked about it. It's why it's classed as like one of the big sun gods, because it basically resets every 12,000 ish years or so. You look at what's his face, who did the Ancient Apocalypse on Netflix. What's his face? The Randall Carlson and English guy. He won't actually go with this subject as a explanation for why these things happen, because I think it blows his mystery out of the water. But if you look at all of his things, if you look at all the episodes, everything happened 11,500, 12,000 years ago. No, I fully agree with you, Window, but if something that massive is going to happen, I'd like to know about when. You know, I'd like 3 days notice, because that's literally how long it takes to get from there to here. I'd like to be 3 days ahead of everyone else with that kind of, you know. AI takes over humanity. Siri takes out humanity worships sun for a few thousand years. Humanity forgets. Humanity starts. Brilliant. Oh, love it. Be a great T-shirt, that would. Mate, do that as a T-shirt. You'll be rich in 12 months. AI takes over humanity. CME takes out AI. Humanity worships some for 1,000 years. Humanity forgets. Brilliant, love it. But yeah, that's for me the biggest, most interesting one out of all the bullshit that humans get up to. It doesn't compare with what can happen like that. You know, that's why that's one I have kept an eye on for the last 10 years. You know, he does a little 3-minute video every day telling you stuff. He's very good at predicting earthquakes, because earthquakes tend to happen when the CMEs hit, or you get what's it called, like anomalies between the sun and us, whether it's filaments, CMEs, flares, whatever. And he got one right for one here. This was, I don't know, it was only a month or so after I arrived here. He put a warning out for Asia. He said they're looking at, you know, possibly 6, maybe 7. And basically what they do is, as the planet turns, the CMEs come in, they can basically predict what part of the planet is facing the CME when it hits. And it just happened to be here. And I was like, fuck's sake. And it wasn't a massive one, but it was big enough to go, fucking hell, here we go. And I can't remember what time of the day it was. Was it morning? No, it was. It was nighttime. That's right. We had a 7.4. We had a 7.4 about 100 kilometers off Bali, but it was super deep. It was like 400 kilometers down. Like, just that blows my mind. 400 kilometers that way. But it was a 7.4, and it rocked pretty hard for saying how deep it was. And, you know, it's just another confirmation that he knows what he's fucking talking about. Same as Dutch. Dutch since talked about it as well. He's another one I kind of keep an eye on. And he's said, you know, look out in Asia. It's going to be quite a big one. Blah, blah, bang. But yeah, pole flips are nasty fucking. Going to take out a majority of people. It's not going to be a pretty sight. Oh, for sure. For sure. Imagine the internet. Yeah, I'm with you on that, Jerry. It's a pretty awful. It's trying to think what film sort of shows you. It's like Day After Tomorrow / so the last. Just to give you an example, the last. So in history, if you look way back. America used to have like a mile or 2 of ice above it, previous to the last pole flip. And all that ice, I think Randall Carlson's talking about it at the moment, saying that something like 600 million square miles of ice, for it to be melted in less than, you know, tens of thousands of years naturally, would need a huge amount of energy to melt it to a point of, you know, getting rid of it in 100 years or whatever. And the planet would have to be rocked. So if you think of like turmoil and repositioning of the planet, America just has to move away from the pole to where it is now, and it would melt pretty fucking quick, which seems to be what it's done. But the last pole flip, the last actual one, they think that the water came over the Rockies, not actually over the top of them, but there was space for it to run in between the actual mountains. So that got up to a good mile. Just thinking about that and how they find like seashells on the top of fucking mountains and stuff like that. They don't just fucking appear there by accident. Exactly. Like no one knows how to grow a fucking blade of grass anymore. I've got my own little veggie patch outside here. I haven't gone too mental, but I've got some necessities. Um, but the good thing here is there's fucking stuff growing everywhere. Like there's fruit everywhere in this place. Literally walk down any of these gangs and there's fucking mango trees, there's limes, there's fucking um, pear apples, there's what else we got? Rambutans, jackfruit, smelly one, always forget the name of, the yellow one that fucking reeks like someone's dead feet, but tastes really nice. It's but anyway, suspicious observers. It's worth just in case. Very interesting. Um, you know, I wouldn't really want to particularly survive something like that because it was going to be fucking hard work afterwards. Like fucking instinct, caveman skills are going to have to come into effect. It's going to be but it's happened hundreds of times already, and we're still here. So hopefully, hopefully it's like the ones prepared with intelligence and skills are usually the ones survive. Hence why the first part of humanity or civilizations when they start are really good until they start fucking dumbing the shit out of each other and it ends up being like maybe that's the universe's way of timing everything. That intelligence only lasts for about 11,500 years. And then we just have to keep resetting it because when I say the universe, I mean the simulation. simulation. I mean whoever's controlling the simulation. It's like you look at CERN, right? You go onto their website, like it's just mind blowing shit. But go onto their website and look at um, Rainbow Universe. That's fucking mind blowing. What they did was create a rainbow universe. It appeared for such a small amount of time that no one saw it, but the data was picked up by the computer. And what they say is they made a rainbow universe, is what they named it. They don't know what it is, but it resembled the amount of data inside it that the computer picked up was more than they'd ever seen before. So one of the scientists said it was something like if you tried to get all the data in the universe and put it into one amount. He says that's how much data it looked like. And maybe that rainbow universe is basically what this is, but we have a different perception of time. Maybe that universe, that little rainbow universe, whatever was in that, lived for 7 billion years. But from our perspective, was a micro billionth of a millisecond. Durian, that's the one. Yeah, durian. It's fucking everywhere. Massive. Kill like 5 people a year here, falling off trees. Oh, and of course, coconuts, fucking everywhere. Big green coconuts. One of my favourite things to do in the morning is walk down the road, buy a coconut for what are they? 15,000 rupiah, which is like, so 100,000 is £5, like $7, $8. So it's like $1 for a fresh coconut, massive thing. And part of the fun of buying one is watching a bloke hack the shit out of it with a machete next to his fingers so skillfully that he cuts a perfect little square out of the top to put a straw in. It's like amazing. And really healthy as well. Really nice. Good way to start the day. How about 5 years of wood stored up for heat? Yeah. All depends on where you are as well. All depends on where you are in the world. There might be somewhere that just is high enough and out the way enough that the ocean breaches won't, come anywhere near you. But it's something like 70% of the planet gets covered in water. I can't remember where it was in. It's wherever he set up the ranch in the States. I think it's Colorado's safe. Or by the projection maps of if it happened, these are the safe spots. Pretty sure like Colorado and whatever are pretty good. Yeah, very true, Ohio. Very true. Yeah, and to be honest, mate, I'm insanely curious as well. Um, I just don't think it'd be very nice. After might be, but because you're talking about like when people say I'm trying to survive, that really is surviving. Because then you think about like a lot of nature's got to go. Got to think about that. That a lot of the food sources are going to vanish straight away. Things like rivers and fucking lakes and shit are going to be fucked completely. Ocean's going to be. What do you estimate? It'll take maybe a week or two for the water to actually chill. So from the turning to the actual, so I think the best way to explain it is, when you put two magnets together, and if you do it really slowly, and then as they get closer and closer and closer, and then suddenly there's a precipice where they suddenly go bang, they suddenly go together. He says it's that jolt. He says we're at that point now where we're about there, and we can start to feel the difference. He says it's that little bang at the end that makes the water in the oceans obviously fucking jolt. And it's just that. It's that point of it all coming, and then like in a tsunami, mostly the worst thing is when the water recedes because it pulls everything out. You've got a wave coming in, which you might survive, but then you lose all your shit. It's when it sort of drags down houses and fucking all the cars and everything goes piling into the ocean. So the ocean's going to be fucking wrecked. Going underground. Don't think underground's going to be very helpful, mate, to be honest. Think of history. Think of mud floods. Think how much sediment there is. And why everything we find from history is buried fucking under a big pile of shit. Yeah, yeah, I think so. I think it is. Yeah, you got to think like just think of that fact. Like fresh water, where are you going to find that? Like rain again. Like we're talking some serious fucking skills to survive something like that. It's got to be a very, very elite percentage of people who are going to actually like know what to do. And then you're going to have accidental survivors who are just going to want to pillage and rob the fuck out of everything you've got. Yeah, it's something I was always played in my mind that I'd like to survive something like that. But then when I think about it, I don't know. I don't know if I really want to. I don't know if it's something I want to experience. It could be a fairly big. It could be a very, very distinctive lesson in life. Yeah, yeah. Bali's probably not the place to be for something like this. I think I'm like 4 meters above sea level here. That's why I said I'd like to be. I'd like 3 days' notice. I think I'll head to. Um, so if I had 3 days' notice, I think I'd head to somewhere. I'll tell you some mad stuff about here. Actually, that's fucking pretty crazy. I'd head somewhere like maybe Nepal. It's only about maybe 6 hour flight. I think maybe a bit more. Yeah, somewhere like that, northern India or somewhere with very very large mountain ranges. Um, yeah, definitely don't want to be on the flat area of anywhere really. Um, but yeah, so here where I'm at right now, if I go on the top of my roof and look out, I can see three massive volcanoes, like proper volcanoes, not like just little things. If you go into Google and put Mount Agung, Agung, I think it is, you look at that beast, Agung. Um, yeah, that thing's fucking massive. Like it's 20 kilometers or something from where I am, and it's well above the clouds. It's fucking huge. And then there's a row of them basically. There's like two others that are silent. In fact, some of the pictures actually show you like in the distance there's two others as well. Um, and they're phenomenal. I've never lived near a volcano where I can just every day go look outside and see this fucking monster, fucking life-ending thing that's just sat there. And it's been rumbling. It's had its couple of rumbles the last couple of months. Yeah, only little ones, only like little kind of three, maybe yeah, like 3.5 on the Richter scales, things like that. But they have come directly from there, where the epicenter is the actual volcano, which means it is rumbling a bit. But the natives here say it's good that it rumbles. He said you worry when it goes quiet because obviously the pressure building up needs to release. The more it releases, the better. Um, but yeah, it's gone off a few times. It's not like it's dormant. It's I think in the last 20 years, I think it's gone off twice, like proper 40,000 foot fucking clouds of ash and all that kind of shit. But living on the edge, living on the edge, keep you on your toes. And then obviously, one of the things that I was worried about when we had the 7.4 earthquake that was right out there in the ocean was like fucking tsunami. I was thinking, fuck's sake. Because I was in Thailand when that one happened, the Banda Aceh earthquake, which then fucking sent tsunamis all over the place. Luckily, this one was deep. Like the shaking, I remember feeling a bit of a bounce, and it was a bit like this. I remember getting out of bed, going, "This one's actually it's like a proper one. This isn't just like a little tremor." And it went, and there was another bang, and I was like, "Fuck this!" And I opened the door, and my roommate, who was in the other door, his door opened at the same time. He went, "Should we get out of the house?" And I went, "We should do, really." And he went, "Let's wait a second." And I was like, "Yeah, I don't know." And then it stopped. And we both just like stared at each other, like, "Is that it?" And then there was another little, and then it finished, and I was like, "All right, good night, mate." I went back to bed, and that was it. But yes, makes you I don't know, kind of live differently when there's threats of fucking annihilation. Any of you guys live in like earthquake zones or volcanic areas, or I know you Brits don't, but then we've had a couple of earthquakes in England, haven't we? We've had a few weird ones, probably from fracking, most of it. If you look on the earthquake map, you look at where the fracking sites are in the UK, and you look at all the 1.2s and 1.8s, 2.1 earthquakes, and they're all coming from that fracking site. Oh, you're on the edge of the New Madrid fault, yeah? That's a banger, that one. So Bali's literally sat on the Ring of Fire. It's literally bang on. You couldn't get any closer to fucking the Ring of Fire without getting into it. Bali is literally one side of the island in the ocean is, I forget what the ridge is. One sec. Um, yeah, it's funny. I have my earthquake map. I have my earthquake. What have we had lately? Let's close that. Let's see. Tonga, Kermadec Trench. Let's see where we are. So we have the. Hold on. Yeah. So if you look at so Bali is just where that blue dot is, just sort of uh, there, that bit, just above my finger. The one, that bit, the Philippines. So you can see, like, they're always happening near me. Red one's been more serious, so I'm bang in the middle of that blue, where that blue dot is. Oh, let me put it in the right fucking place. So what we had, the next island across has had a 4.1, 10 kilometers deep 2 hours ago. Won't feel that from here though, because it's quite a fair way. So we've got the Java Trench. What's the No, sorry, the Java Ridge on the south of the island, and then north. I think we've got it's like two or three areas. What's that one? The Sunda Trench, the Java Trench, Java Ridge, the Sunda Trench, and the Roo Ridge. So they're the three main. So you see that dark bit underneath that bit there. That's like a major ridge. So I'm only up there, so not far away from it. It's always rumbling. But yeah, Philippines, fucking crazy. Look at the Philippines. It's just fucking They must have 100 a day, every single day. Just mad. Um, yeah, always seem to happen at night as well, which is weird. Always get little rumbles in the middle of the night. Only like twos and threes, but they wake me up. They get me like proper wake up and fucking. You just feel a little bit of a, and then it stops. You think, all right, fuck it. Yeah, yeah. Well, with what's it called? Suspicious observers, you should get 2 or 3 days notice. That's if it doesn't come at fucking a million miles an hour. It shouldn't do. It should at least give you 48 hours. So if something does kick off and is coming straight towards us, then at least you get a bit of notice. At least you can kind of run around like a fucking headless chicken for the fucking 48 hours first. Yeah, the thing is, it'll trigger a lot of shit. That's the thing. Well, that'll be proof, won't it? If we do have one. I don't think it's going to be the first thing that comes to mind. That if we start having a poll flip, we're going to go, fucking told you so. Get online. There's a poll, is like poll shift imminent. Ah, you fucking flat earthers, dumbass fuckers. Yeah, it's probably not a priority. But yeah. Well, guys, listen. It's what time is it here? 1:15 in the morning. Done 2 hours and 40 minutes. It's just so good to see you all back again. That's what I love about this. With four, five, six people, like I can read chat. It's not mental. You can have a little back and forwards in this. What I've said to Sperry was what I'd like to do is maybe set up like something like Zoom or something where it can get us all on like proper, all the squares on the screen, so we can have everyone who's in come in. I'll send a link out, so you just click the email and it adds you to the whatever, and we have a proper like discussion and just have that live instead of me fucking sat here ranting away. Like we can actually all sit here and rant away, which I think would be quite good. But I've just got to figure out how to do it. Um, I'm pretty sure you can do it with like, was it Google Teams or whatever? There's a few people have told me like you can do. There's a couple of programs that'll do it, but I've just got to figure out how I get that to come onto live. I'm probably going to have to go through an alternate software, OBS or something like that. Yeah, StreamYard or Streamlabs, or I've got a few of them somewhere. But it's just working out like stream keys and all this. It's all kind of new to me. It doesn't really mean fuck all. Um, but yeah, it'd be good to do that. Then we can all fucking sit and proper have a chat. Um, I think that could be a good way forward. Is just have five, six, seven of us, whatever, just all having a fucking bit of banter. Um, and then actually like proper meaty guys rather than it just known you by fucking texting and whatever. Um, yeah, no. So as soon as I do that, um, I'll tell you on. I'll go live and say, look, this is it. If you want to join. Yeah, no, it's good to be back, Jerry, mate. I'm glad you guys are still about doing your thing, locked in, keeping an eye on shit. Um, I'm feeling a bit more back in the game. Um, what's that? Oh, I've just scrolled up for some reason. What's going on there? Yeah, no, it's good to see you guys. Really is. Makes me want to keep going and whatever because I'm kind of not over it, but just out of that pretty dire, depressing situation of watching my dad fucking deteriorate and all the shit that goes with that, with hospitals and getting treated like shit because he's old and he's not a priority, and it really kind of affects your brain to the point where you start fucking hating everything to do with the health service and fucking just starts to make you really like fucking hell. But listen, let's keep at it. Let's try and do every Sunday if you're about. I'll try and do it a little bit later. Um, Trouble is, if I want to go for like 3 hours ish, which is kind of normal, want to start about 11 my time. So, but we'll see. We'll see. We'll see. So anyway, listen. Take care of yourself, and I shall try and see you next Sunday. Let's see what mad shit happens this week. Hopefully, something mental that we can all scream and rave about. Excellent. All right. Well, listen. Sundays. We'll try and lock in Sundays. So your Sunday morning US time, Sunday afternoonish UK time, and yeah, we'll go from there. But good to catch you guys, and appreciate you coming on. Uh, and it's a pleasure to see you all. And yeah, let's leave it there, lads. Take care of yourselves. See you soon. Yeah. Cheers, boys.